And going now to Federated Farmers' response there. So what do they really make of the proposals so far? Chris Allen is the Federated Farmers' spokesman on water quality, and he believes that the proposals are too ambitious.
Farmers don't like having to do one thing and then a few years later someone has a change of heart and whatever. But the big issue is about the nitrate issues and limits in water and what they actually mean in some catchments up and down the country. They're going to be pretty hard to meet.
Okay, so let's look at that to begin with. The suggestion is that, well, one of the suggestions is a nitrate cap where you rank all the farms, you pick a point where you want everybody to be under, and everyone who's above that needs to get their levels down within a year. Well, what's wrong with that?
Have you ever tried to do this yourself? A farming system goes from year to year, and sometimes it's over a series of years, and working out what is the thing that you do on your farm that actually has that impact. It might be very easy for someone from town to think, oh, it's just farming, it must be really simple. On our farm, for example, we've got 19 different soil types. Each one of those soils responds differently to the activities that we do on top of the land. So if I'm in a catchment, which is going to be one of those sensitive ones, what am I going to do that can actually limit my N-loss through the soil profile? And there's very limited options. I can cut back putting fertiliser on, but the grass still grows. I can probably cut back on the number of sheep or cattle or a bit of cropping that I do, in which case it's going to affect my bottom line pretty quickly. So some of these things you can use technology. And if we're already picking up and using technology, what else can we do? So this is where farmers come up against it and say, well, what can we do if we're already doing the good stuff, but we have to make bigger cutbacks?
Well, as you say, you could get rid of cows and slow the use of fertilisers. If you are not sustainable, if you can't farm sustainably, why should you be left to just carry on?
Look, that is a really good point. But the other thing, this is a discussion document about where they're proposing to put the limits. So are the limits in the right place? They might be for vast parts of the country, in which case, yeah, that's good. In other parts of the country where there's a lot of production going on, someone's food's growing, and we're doing things and already trying to get to lower limits, and then you take the floor down below a certain level, you say, well, okay, perhaps those limits, do they need to be quite that low here or there? So we've got to look at timeframes, we've got to look at where the limits are. It's a discussion document, so let's have a robust discussion about that. Federated Farmers, we've been shut right out of this process for the last 4 or 5 months, so this is quite a surprise of what we're looking at today, and it's a big document to try and get your head around what it actually means.
So what is your worst fear? That some farms will just simply have to go out of business in some areas because it's not sustainable to reach the levels that may be placed upon you, the constraints?
Well, absolutely. Who wants to go out of business to do stuff?
But do you seriously think, sorry to interrupt, Chris, but do you seriously think that some parts of this country won't be able to be farmed because of the limitations this freshwater plan puts on farmers or suggests?
That's our concern, as to how hard that limit or that process is to get there. Now, if we've got more tools in the toolbox that get us there, we're all trying to do the same amount with less. And we're not advocating that we want whole-scale, more intensification of cropping or vegetable growing or dairy or whatever. We're just saying we need time to transition to lower, but with the current technologies, can we still support our families and get to these environmental bottom lines that are being proposed? We're not saying water quality is a bad thing. We're just saying, is some of that water quality that's being proposed actually sustainable? Because what they've gone through, and they've made it quite clear, is there is no economic oversight has gone into any of the numbers that they've put out there. It is straight out on ecologic values. And that's a good thing, but that's when the policy comes in and says, well, okay, perhaps if you go up a little bit, everyone or most people can live within these limits.
The thing is, other industries have pressure put on them as well. I mean, people who make single-use plastic bags probably think they've been treated harshly as well. If we want a pristine environment, then people are going to have to make sacrifices and changes, aren't they? So why do farmers think they should get, well, a bit of a pass?
Are we talking about a pass? We're talking about getting time to so that we can have all the wins that we need. We want good employment, we want good rural infrastructure, we want hospitals, we want schools, we want all the neat things in life, and we've got water quality in much of New Zealand, in many places, not all, I'll get that is improving.
The Agriculture Minister says you're needlessly catastrophising this, are you?
I don't want to get into debate with the Minister on that, but we are out there talking to farmers at the moment. There is so much uncertainty in this world. Some of it's from domestic, a lot of it's from international markets and what's going on in the world. Uncertainty. And farmers, they want to do the right thing. They want to do it once, and they want to know that the goalpost is something they can actually aspire and get to. And if there's a big brick wall in front of them and there's no steps to get up there, there's the problem. So is this the time to talk about genetic modification or GE technologies to where we could have some low-end grasses or crops or whatever? Because we don't have the other tools other than destocking. And we're a food basket for many people. The food that we produce on my farm doesn't just feed my family, it feeds thousands of other people around.
So that's Chris Allen from Federated Farmers there.